So in this video, we're going to do a 5-minute review of solving quadratics by factoring. So when you solve quadratics by factoring, you're going to start off by setting your quadratic equal to 0. Then you're going to factor the quadratic, set each factor equal to 0, and then solve for x. So let's try solving x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. Notice this quadratic is already set equal to 0, so I'm going to go ahead and factor what I have on the left side. So remember, this is the value of a, which is basically 1. I have b and I have c. So since this is a case where a equals 1, I'm going to look at the factors of c, which is 9, that are going to add up to 6. Well, the factors of 9 are 1 and 9, and then 3 and 3. So since 9 is positive and b is positive, I'm going to leave all my factors positive. 1 plus 9 is 10, so that won't work. 3 plus 3 is 6, so that will work. So my factored form is going to be x plus 3 times x plus 3, and that is equal to 0. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set each factor equal to 0 and then solve for x. So in this case, both of my factors are the same, so I'm just going to get one solution for x. If I subtract 3 from both sides, I get x equals negative 3. And that is the only solution to this quadratic because this is one of those quadratics that has a repeated root. So let's try solving now. 2x squared plus x equals 10. So notice that this is not already set equal to 0, so I need to go ahead and do that by subtracting 10 from both sides. So when I do that, I have 2x squared plus x minus 10 equals 0. So now remember, I need to identify the values of a, b, and c. So this is a, x has a 1 in front of it, so that's going to be b, and this is c. So now I need to look at the value of a times c since my a is not equal to 1. A times c is 2 times negative 10, so that's going to be negative 20, right? So I have 2 times negative 10. So let's look at the factors of 20. I have 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and 4 and 5. Since 20 is negative, I know I need a positive factor and a negative factor. Since b is positive, I'm going to make all my bigger factors positive, and my smaller factors are going to be all negative. So the factor pair that gives me the correct combination is negative 4 and 5. So I'm going to use that as my factors. So I have 2x squared minus 4x plus 5x minus 10 equals 0. I'm going to put my terms into two groups. So I have 2x squared minus 4x, and then plus I have 5x minus 10, and that's equal to 0. The GCF of the first set is going to be 2x, so I'm going to factor that out. So I have 2x times 2x squared over 2x minus 4x over 2x, and that's going to give me 2x times 2 over 2 cancels, and then x squared over x is just x, and then minus 4 over 2 is 2, and then x and x just cancel. And then I have plus, so for my second set of terms, I'm going to factor out a 5. And then I have 5x over 5 minus 10 over 5. So when I do that, I have 5 times 5 over 5 cancels, and then I have x minus 10 divided by 5, which is 2. And that's equal to 0. So when I write this in factored form, I have x minus 2 times 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. So now what I need to do is I need to take each of these factors and I need to set them equal to 0. So I have x minus 2 equals 0, and I have 2x plus 5 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0 I can solve by adding 2 to both sides, so that gives me x equals 2 as one of my solutions. 2x plus 5 I can solve by first subtracting 5 from both sides, so I have 2x equals negative 5. And then I divide both sides by 2, so I have x equals negative 5 over 2. Or if you prefer, you can write that as x equals negative 2.5. So that is how you solve quadratics by factoring.